The following is intended for mature audiences only. Discretion is advised.
Look at that view. I don't know if I'm ever going to get past just walking out of a door and just looking at mountains. I didn't think it was going to be such a beautiful sight. We are in Salt Lake City, Utah right now. It's the same thing with LA. Every day I walk down to my Airbnb and just looked at the mountains and looked at palm trees. Big, tall, huge, skinny palm trees. It was maddening. Everything about LA was so different. The same thing as the farther west you go than it is compared to the East Coast. That's the one thing I could never get, that I don't know if I'll ever get used to. That's what I loved about LA is everything looked different. Everything, maybe it's just starry eyes, rose-colored glasses because, I'm seeing things I don't normally get to see. But the architecture's different. The color palettes are different. Plants look different. There was one plant I saw in somebody's yard. It looked like an alien. In fact, I'm pretty sure I saw that exact same plant used as an alien invasive species on the Justice League cartoon with Superman.
Hera, no. Bruce! Get him, Dad, get him!
I've seen cactuses, but just to see them every day, thriving, like palm trees, they look so cool. They look out of this world. They're just skinny and long. They're taller than other trees that you see in front of people's houses, and they're just skinny. That's the weird part. It's just how, anyway, cars look different. Everything looked different in LA. That's what I enjoyed most about it. Because everything felt new to me, even if it looked old. The way buildings had their businesses had their signs out front were different. They all looked old and retro, but even if they were modern, they still looked like they had different. And billboards didn't in any way feel crowded or gaudy. Throughout the city of LA and Hollywood and downtown LA, there's tons of billboards for, especially right now because the SAG Awards are coming up and Oscars and the Academy Awards and all that. They're advertising movies. So it's really just refreshing walking around a city and seeing billboards for movies. As somebody who works in entertainment. And it didn't feel crowded. They didn't feel out of place. And most of the billboards throughout LA aren't even LEDs. They're still old school paper, vinyl, whatever billboards are made of. I have no idea. But they're just old school billboards throughout all of LA. It was fun to see. On the last update, we talked about the open mics in LA. So let's talk about the shows in LA because it is a different beast. Well, first and foremost, all the shows were fine. They were great. Much like any other show in every city, some are good, some are bad. Some people show up to you, some people don't show up to other ones.
Yeah! One person is watching. Oh, I wonder who it is. All right, Mom. Here we go. Let's keep it rolling. This guy, it's his first time on our show, but he's so famous that I have comics all the way from the East Coast excited that he's doing this show tonight.
Yes, dude.
And we are excited to welcome to Dive Bar Comedy for the very first time, Deadair Dennis.
All right, give it up for your host, Wild Joe.
Yeah.
And keep that applause going for her husband, Burns when I pee Frank. But I love how Wild Joe, I thought Wild Joe was going to be an ironic nickname. Boy, was I fucking wrong. I love how I love Wild Joe has fucked a porn star at the AVN Awards, and I'm the only one in the room that knew that AVN stood for Adult Video News. So you take one look at me and everyone's like, yeah, that checks out. We know you know it. It's yeah. You voted in the AVN's cartooning member. Okay.
But there was so my friend Reed Clark, he's a comedian from DC. And him and I, reconnected on Zoom during the pandemic, and we saw each other. Now he lives in LA, actually specifically Long Beach, which is like south of LA. Like we're in Eagle Rock, so if like downtown LA is the middle of a clock. By the way, LA could really benefit from having a beltway. That would probably alleviate a lot of traffic, but they have their freeways, and getting around the freeways is get on the freeway, and then get off the freeway, and then get back on a different freeway. That might just be Google Maps trying to navigate my way through, but Eagle Rock, compared to downtown, if it looks like a clock, is at like 2 o'clock. Long Beach is 6 o'clock, so you have to drive through the city straight through to get to Long Beach. And that's where all his shows were, in the Long Beach area. And honestly, some of them might have been glorified open mics. He'll put anybody on, apparently, evident by the quality of some of the comedians who are on these shows. I guess that speaks to me as well, but like one of the first, like he gave me a bunch of shows, so I'm in no way ungrateful at all. I had my fun, and it's hard. Promoting's hard. Getting people out to shows, I get it. Some nights are good, some nights are bad. What are you gonna do? The first one we did was in a hookah bar, and the owner was just heckling the other comedians.
That joke really was just for them. It's okay. You still trying to find it? What's that, your penis or my punchline? Motherfucker, I may live in Boston, but I'm from Baltimore. You don't fucking scare me, bro. I lived where they filmed The Wire because that's where the fucking crime happened. I mean, he's still looking down, so I think we have his answer, right?
And they decided to turn on his own microphone at the end of the open mic and start roasting people, which was not good. It's your place and nobody showed up here. What does that say about you, sir? But it was I got a nice compliment from Reed and the other comedians, because when he started heckling me, I just eviscerated them, and they were like, man, you came back so fast and so quick. I'm like, yeah, that's what we're supposed to do. It's our job. But it was nice being complimented. The other two shows he had were at breweries, which, it's a very commonplace to do comedy shows at breweries. Breweries need reasons to bring people in to drink their beers. And one of them was definitely a surprise comedy show with people who did not know comedy was going to happen, nor did they want comedy to happen.
Back in my hometown, I live on the East Coast. I live in Boston. In Boston, I'm also an actor. And just before I left town for this road trip, I got a call from a casting agency. They're like, hey, we want you to come in and read for a commercial for a hospital in your local area. By the way, why are hospitals advertising? Who doesn't know about hospitals? Having chest pains? Dial 1-800-St. Elizabeth and use coupon code cardiac arrest for 15% off your next procedure. By the way, a comedy show is going well when you can hear the comments on how well your jokes are going during your set. This is awesome. Obviously, no one here knew it was comedy except the people who are doing comedy. That's okay. It's fine. Nobody ever knows. That never happens in acting. Like, nobody just shows up to a theater like, there's a play here tonight?
That was uncomfortable. The worst part about that one is, I forget the name of it, but the Smog City Brewery. They have two locations. I showed up to the wrong location. The first location I showed up to, it was kind of partially indoors, partly outdoors. There was a food truck there, a burger truck. The place was popping. There was a lot of people around. They're watching the hockey game. I'm like, all right, cool. Where's the comedy show? And they're like, oh, that's our other location. I was like, all right, cool. How do I get there? I'll look it up here, guy. I got it. Figure it out. 5 minutes away, 10 minutes away, whatever. Drive there. I get there, and it's in a strip mall, and there's nobody outside, and they don't serve food. The strip mall is empty. And the 3 or 4 people that came in quickly drank their beers and left because they didn't want to be talked at. They didn't want to have comedy forced upon them, and I can't blame them. Especially And you have the other comedians who are aggressively forcing comedian on them. They're like, can you not tell they don't want this?
I've been left on the cutting room floor about your favorite movie and TV shows. Seriously, my favorite thing about acting is showing up on set and watching the casting director regret their decision of hiring me. Like, my best side is the side behind the camera. You know what I mean? I mean, Knives Out. You guys ever seen the movie Knives Out?
Yeah.
Right? You know the scene where Christopher Evans and Ana de Armas are in the restaurant and they have the bowl and he's trying to get her to lie and she's gonna vomit it, right? Yeah, you know that scene?
Yeah.
If you guys are that scene, I'm way the fuck over there in the scene. Like, they just kept telling me, act like you're having a good time at the web. Like, the camera's not even facing this way. I'm not an idiot. But you know what? It's $27 an hour and 2 free meals. All I gotta do is not look at the camera and not fall down. And if they ask me to fall down, I get to charge them extra. Fucking acting's great. I love it.
The second brewery show was all right. A couple people showed up on purpose for the show, and it was a good time. That had a burger truck outside, so we had a nice burger and some chips. There was a Scooby-Doo pinball machine, so every so often during the comedy show, just the theme song to Scooby-Doo would kick on.
We've got our own pinball machine. Shoot the white shots. Skill shot. Yeah, the machine is off. Shoot the mystery machine. Oh, unlocked. Hey, what's that?
Nothing you do about that. So, but Reed was incredibly gracious to allow me to have time and do my jokes in front of people that went, pretty okay. Most of the time. Other brewery shows we did, my buddy Greg Benevent, who is a pandemic friend, put me on his brewery show. And again, another surprise comedy show, but that one went well. There was like a group of 12 people there. They were celebrating somebody's birthday, and a couple other people were just there to have a drink and talk. And a couple of the ladies didn't want white guy with enthusiastic energy talking at them doing comedy, so they quickly skedaddled. But the birthday party group, they brought pizzas and cupcakes. And they shared them with everybody. And even though they were on the far end of the outdoor patio, they were paying attention. They were laughing. They had a good time. We talked to them afterwards. Everyone was, of course, enthusiastic to see Sister, aren't they? She had her good times and lots of head pets and ear scratches from all the people at the comedy shows that we brought it to. I mean, breweries, they're well known for being pet friendly, so we brought Sister to a couple of the shows. I love this place. Make some noise if you're coming to the brewery here for the first time. Who's here for the first time? Yeah? Just me, a couple other people, the guy dressed like he's the final boss in a barista-themed role-playing game. So those shows went okay at best. I mean, I had my fun. What are you going to do? You can't. I've been doing this long enough that I know that everything's going to be spectacular. But what was spectacular is on Valentine's Day, I did 2 shows, which I hate running around and jumping from show to show, but had 2 really great shows that night. One of them was at the Hollywood Comedy Club. My buddy Brian Wohl, pandemic friend, him and I ran into each other also at the same improv open mic that I ran into Reed Clark, and he hooked me up with a spot that he does every other Friday there at that place, and that show was awesome. This kid Rob was hosting. He did an all right job. Hosting is very important with a comedy show. Greg did a great job hosting his brewery show and getting people into knowing that there's going to be a show happening. Sometimes I said this at Bull and Bash, Bash and Bull, the Orlando show. That host did a great job getting everybody on board, on the page, knowing what's going to happen and having fun. Greg did a pretty good job of that at his brewery too. So I think had that birthday party not been welcomely warmed the way that Greg had done, didn't introduce the show as well as he did, I don't know if it would have gone over as well as it did. But shows that did go well. The Hollywood Comedy. On Valentine's Day, I had 2 shows, the Hollywood Comedy and Flappers, and I hate doing 2 shows in a night. I know some people like running around. They think that's the gig, is running around, is doing as many spots as possible. No, I don't care for that. You know, I just want to do my spots and hang out, especially like Hollywood Comedy. We had such a good green room hang pre-show that I just wanted to continue that hang afterwards. But I had to run for my spot, the Flappers. And Hollywood Comedy, I've talked about during the open mics. I did one of their open mics, and I've done it before. Okay, I know, you want to roll in the grass. We're not going to roll in the grass. But the show that my buddy Brian put on, Brian Wall, good pandemic friend, I ran into him at the same improv open mic as I ran into Reed Clark. And he was like, hey, I got a spot every other Friday at Hollywood Comedy. Come do it. And I did, and it was packed. Doesn't take much, like 30, 40 seats, but it was packed. Everybody there on purpose. Everybody there wanting to have a good time.
I also, I'm not an adult Disney, but I've been to Disney as an adult. My sister took her family there, and I got fired from a job, so I had like a big severance pay, and I went to Disney. By the way, when you look like me and you go in and out of Disney by yourself, you're a walking Amber Alert. Make some noise. Who's here coming to Hollywood Comedy for the first time? Who's here for the first time? Make some noise. Isn't this place awesome looking? I love this. We got records on the wall. We got vinyl on the wall. We got the name. We've got the Black Abyss. This is great. All right, here's the thing. I really don't give a shit about how this place looks, but I am concerned. Reason being is I do comedy around the country, and sometimes you do comedy in places like VFW halls or Knights of Columbus, or sometimes certain clubs have just a giant American flag against the backdrop of the stage. And I'm always worried about doing comedy in front of an American flag. Because if you see me shouting into a microphone, standing in front of an American flag, with this haircut, I look like Breitbart stock photos. I look like a background actor from American History X. I look like I have a very well-rehearsed alibi for January 6th. If you saw my face in a newspaper, you would believe that it would say "in his manifesto" in it. I look like if I told them to get home safely, they would think it was a threat.
The other comedians were a great hang, just hanging out in the green room, just gossiping with each other, talking about Boston comedy and the antics and shenanigans and dumb bullshit, chicanery that was happening at the time. That's a whole nother podcast. But I did my spot, had some fun, got in the car and quickly ran to Flappers, did my spot at Flappers, another packed room. Again, it's a small room. They hold 60. There's probably 50 people in there, and they were there for fun. Got to do my jokes, got to hang out, got to use some of that gift card. By the way, I want to point out, I had a $1,300 gift card to Flappers when I came here this trip around, and I spent all $1,300 of it. I spent a lot of time eating at Flappers, just not even performing, just came to Flappers, hey, let me get a pizza and a beer. And honestly, with their prices, it's not hard to run up a $100 bill. 2 drinks, something to eat, maybe food to take home. 20% gratuity and a 20% tip, boom. There's $100 right there real easily. But the food's really good at Flappers. Like, it used to be a macaroni grill or a Bertucci's or something like that. So they have like a really good, legit kitchen. I'm so suspect about the wings. The wings are freaking amazing. Oh, let's talk about the food at Flappers. Chocolate chip cookies, that's what they kind of like pride themselves on, and their pizza. And both are absolutely legit, pizza and the chocolate chip cookies. But the wings were spectacular. I had them on, I went and watched the Super Bowl on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, at Flappers, and man, did I really enjoy those wings. I was looking forward to those wings after I tried them a couple days earlier. They're meaty, they're juicy, cooked well. The sauce is a nice spice. Oh, it was so good. Get a couple wings and a Caesar salad. I feel like that puts me on the right path of food, where it gives me the feel like I'm eating junk food, but also still eating healthy thing. It's funny, I talked about my buddy Casey Crawford being at in LA at the same time as me. And one of the things that he was just doing open mics, I think, hoping to get a spot. And I think he asked me, how did you get these spots? I was like, well, they're all ran by friends, and I reached out to other people. I did some due diligence looking up shows and reached out to people. I was like, hey, here's a tape. And he's like, oh, that's the way to do it. I don't think he was interested in doing that. I don't think he had that go-getiveness. Like, I think he just wanted to do his open mics and his audition sets. That's one of the things him and I talked about, and I've talked about it on the podcast before. What sets am I supposed to be doing at these open mics and auditions? I did a lot of working on new material, and I've been writing a few things on the road here. So I did those off and on at open mics, and I'm working on different stuff. But he's under the mindset that the audition shows are looking for something in particular. And I was like, well, if I'm auditioning, and I'm not doing new stuff at the audition, that's just dumb. But he has different opinions than I do, and who knows what's right. I don't know. I mean, he got more callbacks than I did. I mean, not every open mic went well for me, but some of them aren't my audience. Some of them aren't his audience. And that's where my battery on the camera died in Salt Lake City. So I have not recorded any updates since then. We're in the time jump right now. That video was, March. It is now May. And I've been back home for almost 2 months. I think I got back to Boston on March the 10th. I started going back to work March 12th. A couple of days here and there. We got the season rolling. Now we're in full duck boat season. And I've been working, 6 weeks, 4 or 5. I think I have a 6-day week coming up doing tours. And this is going to be the last update. I'm going to try and do all the rest of the updates right now for you for the end of the episode. Here, just what I can remember, because it's been a lengthy 6 weeks of a lot going on. And I'll be honest with you, I don't want to forget the trip, but there's a lot going on. I can't wait to do this trip again. I enjoyed everything about this road trip. There were some ups and downs, and I enjoyed them. I'll take them. I'll go back to them. Honestly, I could do this living on the road thing. I've been thinking about fantasizing about getting an RV and just traveling the country in an RV, me and the dog, and just doing that. If I can make comedy happen and live in that way, I want it. I enjoyed everything about this trip. I enjoyed seeing people. I enjoyed seeing friends, but meeting new people, doing shows, seeing different cities, talking to people about their cities. So I enjoyed being in LA. I growing up, I wanted to be that guy. Oh, LA, that's for those hippy dippy losers. No, it's not. I like it. Call me a hippy dippy loser then. I don't care. I enjoyed it. Again, this might be rose-colored glasses because I was visiting there and I didn't have to have a job and I have to worry about money or anything. So maybe it was a little shiny. Maybe there was a honeymoon phase, but I enjoyed it. There's just something about LA. I'll tell you this. If I move to LA, it's going to be really hard to not eat cheeseburgers. There's just something about sitting outside on a patio eating a cheeseburger that seems so LA to me. I don't know if I've watched too many Quentin Tarantino movies, but I feel like quintessential cheeseburger, drive-in, sitting outside with a milkshake, that's LA to me. Is that not, the other people not feel like LA is a cheeseburger town? Is that just me? I don't know what it is. But, the shows weren't any different than they are here in Boston. You know what the difference was? I was able to get shows easier in LA than I have been here in Boston. Least I can say this. This trip proved that if I send out requests for shows, if I send out booking emails, I get responses. I mean, I don't always get bookings, but I get at least a courteous reply of saying, hey, we're booked that day. Hey, I don't think it's going to work out or anything like that. Maybe it's because I'm out of town. I like to think it's because they watched it and they were like, hey, this guy's good, but we owe him the credit of explain to him why the answer is not a yes. Maybe they're just being nice and courteous, but I have, throughout the country, every time I travel, I seemingly almost have no difficulties getting bookings and getting replies to bookings. Both times I've been in LA. I get there, I do shows, friends hook me up with shows, and somebody ultimately on that show who runs another show is, hey man, you're really good. Will you do my show? Or are you still going to be here by X day? And that happened this time. It happened in 2022, 2023, whenever it was that I went to LA the first time. And it happened this time. It happened on this trip when I'm doing a show or doing an open mic. Somebody's like, oh, how long are you going to be in town for? Oh, till this day. Oh, I have a show on this day. Do you think about staying? Or, hey, you're going to be here. Can you do this show? And that makes me feel good. It makes me know that I'm doing the right thing when it comes to comedy. Because even listening back to some of the tapes, editing for this, I questioned my material a little bit in my own head. And I think it's because I've seen the material 1,000 times. I've said it 1,000 times. I've looked at it 1,000 times. I've heard it 1,000 times. And I think even though I know I trust the material and I think it's funny, when you hear it, I mean, these are not the best performances in these podcast episodes because it's not always going to be the best time on the road. That's the real truth of it. No matter how good of a comedian you are, you're going to have bad shows. It's not going to be about you. Sometimes it's about the audience. It's about the time, the place, you know. Sometimes you just got to chalk it up to just wasn't your day. And I did want to show that. I didn't want to show I didn't want to put on airs that like everything was rosy and great and wonderful and I'm going to make it. And this is, you know, this was the reality of what it is doing shows across the country for someone who's independent like me. And even on the way back home, there wasn't a lot of great spots. You know, I did a nice, fun gig in Salt Lake City that night at Wise Guys, you know. And I watched people come in and sit and get annoyed and get bothered by other people's material. And I had to go up there and trudge through it and get through it and do my thing and do what I can do and show everybody what I can do.
Everybody here you see tonight is chasing their dreams while we're all dressed like we're here to help you move a couch. Like open mic comedy and moving furniture are the only two professions paid professionally in beer and free pizza. I'm 43 years old. I just had that very special appointment with my doctor where he takes his finger and he has to stick it in my... Yeah, that's the last time I go to that dentist, so... Like, I don't want to scare anybody away from the procedure. It's very important. You should have the procedure. I just wish my doctor would change gloves. It's like I can still taste it a little. Okay, anyway. I'm a full-time comedian driving across the country right now. You're right to not applaud that because that means I'm unemployed. I'm on a 3-month comedy tour that's sponsored by the Massachusetts State Unemployment.
You know, I keep talking about one of the reasons I did this is so I can to relate to the people that come visit Boston and take my duck tours. And after about 6 weeks of doing duck tours and talking to people that come from the other cities and have these experiences, I still have a few things to talk about. I have a few more things to talk to people about, but I don't have a lot yet still. One of the things that I realized is I don't remember the city of Denver at all. Like even right now, trying to think about what happened in Denver, I can't remember it at all. I'll tell you what I won't. I don't know if I'll ever forget the Grand Canyon. Man, I thought it was just going to be, oh, it's a big hole in the ground, big deal. No, it's all spiraling, and I regret not spending enough time at the Grand Canyon. If I do this trip again, I will plan a couple of days just to spend in the Grand Canyon, to camp out in the Grand Canyon. That's one of the things I've been fantasizing about is getting like some small RV trailer, teardrop trailer RV, little home, a bed on wheels to tow behind me, just so I can do more sleeping in the car. And instead of sleeping in the car, I could go out to this little trailer and sleep in the trailer and, build this little 5x8 by 6 foot tall, home trailer that's got a bed and some solar panels and a TV and a fridge and all my stuff's in it. And I can just pull up to a parking lot, get in the thing of it, go to sleep, wake up, get back in the car and drive again. I don't need a full-on RV. Although if a full-on RV popped into my lap, it would be hard to not want to take it. To be able to do this. I mean, I even think about giving up this apartment and moving into an RV, moving into a trailer park in an RV. I was like, yeah, I can do it. I can live in that small space. Save a bunch more money. But that's not where we're at yet. So the drive back. LA was great. I enjoyed all of it. There was some other good shows that happened. I had some good times at Flappers. West Side Comedy Club was great. Oh, in Santa Monica. Oh, shout out to Amanda and Maggie. Amanda, the blonde bitch. That's what she calls herself. Pandemic friends who hooked me up with a great show at the West Side Comedy Club in Santa Monica. Which, by the way, Santa Monica, I did not know it was so cold and foggy in Santa Monica. I thought it was bright and sunshiny beaches. Like when you roll in, you could feel a 10 to 15 degree temperature change. It's weird that when you get to the water, it's so much more. When you get to the beach on the West Coast, it's a completely different temperature than inland. Whereas here on the East Coast, the beaches, the water. I mean, Baltimore's right on the water. So is Boston. Their temperatures seem to be more acclimate than when you get to the water on the West Coast. There's that humidity rolls in and it changes the temperature, drops the temperature. It's weird. I enjoyed the little bit of time. Like Maggie and Amanda asked me to help do some flyering for the show just to make sure that we can get some butts in seats for it. And I did not mind doing it at all. Sister and I walked around Santa Monica Pier. We walked around the boardwalk, handed out flyers, saw street performers. I had a nice little good time in Santa Monica. And then we did a show at the West Side Comedy Club that night. And it was packed. And that audience for a Wednesday night were awesome. They were into it. I had a great time. It was a good, fun set.
Driving across country right now with my dog, who is named Sister. I know. It's a very cute name for a dog, Sister, isn't it? Until you lose her. Then you gotta go around the neighborhood going, have you guys seen my sister? She got out of her cage trying to eat a rat. Why are you calling the police? Put the phone down. Let me explain. When you have that dog, though, when you get a dog, clap it up, dog owners. Where are my dog owners at? You have a dog? Do people ask if it's a rescue? No, I get it all the time, and I hate that question. You know why? Because if you tell it's a rescue, what's the next question out of their mouth? Who rescued who? I hate that question. First off, it's whom, bitch. Secondly, no one pulled anyone out of a burning building, so no one rescued anybody.
It made me want to be doing that club more. It made me want to be in LA more. I'm still thinking about all the fun I had just being in LA. Maybe it's because I was new, but it solidifies what my path that I want to work towards is just keep doing duck tours for the next couple of years, keep saving up, keep doing this trip, but keep saving up so I can have enough money to move to LA. I squared myself up with the Screen Actors Guild. So now I need to find a way to start diving back into some of my acting roles, try to build those connections. That way, when I move to LA, I can hopefully get a job doing, that background work on films and movies that I've wanted to do. Support myself that way, do my comedy, and take the next steps of my career. At 43, going on 44 in a couple of days, I do feel the time crunch. I feel like time's running out on me to do these things. You know, acting is all about appearances, and you know what? My appearances don't help me. This has come up in conversations with casting directors and management and agents and stuff like that. You know, the reason I focus on wanting to do background work is because it's simple and it's easy. But the problem is, I'm too distracting looking for background work. That is the dumbest sentence you're ever going to hear. But it's true. We've had that. It's like, hey, they try to put you in the background, but you're such a unique look. You're going to distract from the scene. I have a particular look. I know Boston Casting tried. I've probably said this dozens of times on the thing, but Boston Casting worked really hard to get me 2-3 week consistent role as a bailiff on Defending Jacob. They have no reason to make this story up to me. I didn't get it. They have no reason to lie to me to tell me that this is what they're working on it for me. They want me to get this work in acting. And then the response that came back from the people at Defending Jacob is, he doesn't look like a bailiff. Like, what does a bailiff look like? Apparently look like an old white guy and a 20-something-year-old black guy. That's because that's who they hired for the role over me. I don't know. But I still want to do that stuff. I think it's what I want. I like being a part of the process of creation. But anyway, so on the road. Left LA. You know, sister and I left on the night of the Academy Awards. I wanted to go to the red carpet and look and gawk and maybe take some pictures. I was like, it's going to be too much. So I didn't. We ended up we saw the movie The Monkey. We went to one of the theaters that Quentin Tarantino owns. You know, sat in, had a little cup of tea, and it was cold in LA too. Had to drink a hot cup of tea just to stay warm. But, you know, we went to the movies and then got in the car that night and drove overnight to Las Vegas. Vegas. I don't ever want to go back to Vegas. I mean, I'm going to go back to Vegas, but I don't want to go back to Vegas. It was not a great time. Like first off, Excalibur Hotel. I never want to stay at that hotel again. It's a Marriott property. I got the points for it, but like, I don't know if it's because it's a casino or it's because it's Vegas, but they were rude. They were difficult to check in at. I can't unload my own car. I can't have a cart. They have to bring somebody to push the cart for me. Like, all right, fine. You're doing all these things in place because you want me to tip your little bellboy. That's fine. Your bellhop. That's fine. Okay. But to tell me that I can't, like, this is not a union. Hotels, unloading the car is not a union job. All right. I don't need to hire union actors to carry my suitcases up to my room. I'm perfectly capable of doing it myself, but they wouldn't let me. There was no microwave. I had some food I wanted to reheat. And they're like, no, there's no microwave. Like, some of that, not every hotel room that I stayed in had a microwave in it, but they had a microwave on every floor, or a microwave that was accessible. There was no microwave anywhere within the Excalibur. And they acted like I was the fool for assuming that there should be one. Like, no, we don't have a microwave. I'm like, there's not a microwave anywhere within this entire hotel? No. Fuck you. So the Excalibur just got on my nerves. I did a open mic at Quads, which is a gay bar. And it is in a very aggressive sports themed gay bar. Like, it feels like a sports bar, but for gay men. And it was very interesting and bright and very aggressive looking.
Hello, everybody. I love this. I've always wanted to know what it's like to perform in this strip club from Tron. Oh, shit. I forgot to turn this off. Give it up for your host, man. This is Rick watching the two of you work. It's the only open mic hosted by a comedian and his reluctant strip club DJ best friend. Pretty close. Seriously, watching the two of you work together is like watching Gaffigan and his inner voice had sexual assault charges. This place is aggressively gay and brody at the same time. I fucking love this place. I feel like you guys like aggressively gamble on Drew Paul's Drag Race. RuPaul's Drag Race, whether it is, I don't know. I know you have the haircut that makes everybody in this place scared, so. This haircut makes me look like a background actor from American History X. This whole show is just full of comedians who will never have sex with a woman who knows who her real father is. This is...
I won $100 for the open mic, so there's no complaints from me. They do they give away $50 for the best set of the night. I had the best set of the night, so they gave me $100. They were doing a special $100 that night, and believe you me, I needed that $100. Money was getting tight by this point. That $100, every single penny of that $100 went right into the gas tank to make sure I could leave Las Vegas. And boy, trust me, did I want to leave Las Vegas. Yeah, cue that Show Crow song, Leaving Las Vegas. That's what I wanted to do. Got there, spent the night, got in the car the next morning, and we left. And that's when we headed to the Grand Canyon. I looked at the Grand Canyon, drove through it, drove overnight. Wish I would have stayed longer. Got to Salt Lake City. I really did not plan the trip home very well, but, Salt Lake City was nice. And here's the thing about Salt Lake City. I recorded a lot of everything else that you've heard about the LA open mic and show scene. I recorded in Salt Lake City until the battery died, and I was going to finish it up, and then, life happened. But I'll say this about Salt Lake City. When I got in Salt Lake City, I went to Planet Fitness. I got on the treadmill. I was working out. I'm walking on the treadmill. I'm exercising. I'm looking at this big, huge glass wall windows, just a whole wall of windows, the entire front of it. I could see all of Salt Lake City, and I could see out in the distance, and I could see those mountains. And I walk on the treadmill looking at the mountains going, I'm doing this wrong. I'm supposed to be up there walking, not down here looking at that. I don't know if I'll get used to that view, but Salt Lake City was nice. So that night after Wise Guys, sister and I got in the car, drove. We drove from Salt Lake City to Denver, and I don't remember what happened in Denver at all. Not a single clue.
Like, do you understand? I don't believe in a God, but I believe there's somebody out there trying to fuck up my entire life, and he probably has a beard. Like, do you understand? When somebody cuts me off in traffic, I believe they did it on purpose to make me late to work. Joke's on them. I'm already early to work because I have obsessive-compulsive disorder. By the way, I don't suffer from OCD. I live with OCD. I suffer from people who talk to me like they think they have OCD. I was having dinner with this woman one time, and I happened to mention that I have OCD, and she was like, oh my God, I have OCD. I have to make sure all the pictures in my house are straight. I told her I was late to our dinner because I can't step on shadows. You're not on my level, lady. I'm going to be hanging around if you guys want with my dog, Sister. If you say hi, and if you tell me I had a good set, I'll let you pet my dog named Sister. If you mean it, I might give you a sticker. I've been Deadair Dennis Maler. Thank you guys. Good night.
Left Denver. Drove overnight. There was snow. Driving from Denver through Wyoming to get to Kansas. We had some snow. And in Kansas, I ended up not even booking anything. Couldn't find an open mic. Couldn't book a gig. I ended up just going to a club that had an improv show, and it was an improv show. And I drove overnight to Joplin and did my show I drove to Indianapolis next. Thought I was going to Indianapolis. I ended up in Bloomington. Went to an open mic there at another brewery.
I just found out recently that that in my hometown, the current urgent care has replaced the Pizza Hut that I grew up in. But they didn't change the building at all. Like, they just slapped a coat of white paint on it, put a Red Cross on it, and that was it. I'm pretty sure the Red Cross is still painted in marinara, actually, but like the inside, you were like, well, they put up walls, and nope, just curtains in the dining room. There's still the fireplace that was there before. The waiting room still has the same Pac-Man and claw machine as I grew up on. I recently had to visit there. I was visiting my parents. I had to go to the urgent care, and I was in there, and I had to leave a urine sample in it, and they actually made me give it in one of those little red stippled cups. But the good news is I did get 10% off of my procedure for every A+ that was on my report card. So.
Bad open mics. I don't even want to talk about how bad the open mics are. I'm too good of a mood. But I left there. Eventually, I finally got to Joplin to see the show in Joplin that my friend Micah books, and it was this really cool theater, this tiny little place, the Royale Cinema, which clearly has a Quentin Tarantino inspiration. Like, I talked to them. I love it. It's a VHS movie theater where you can rent VHS and sit in there and watch VHS tapes. And they got a nice little theater back room where she gets to do her show monthly. And unfortunately, not a lot of people showed up to it, but they had a good time. They enjoyed themselves. They laughed. I had a good time. The sad parts about it was I was hopefully going to be performing with my friend Neil Rubenstein, who I met through the World Series of Comedy. He came to Boston, and he's just a very funny guy, and he's doing what I want to be doing. Like, he's traveling the world, he's opening for bands, he's doing comedy, he's doing independent shows, and he's getting booked to open for other people on their road shows and tours, and he's doing what I want to be doing, and I wanted to open for him because I want him to see what I do.
By the way, ladies, if you want to know how to catch a Christopher Evans, I got a secret for you. He likes dogs. Evident by the fact that him and I worked another day on that set together. He comes out of the van. Sister and I are there. He walks by, gets out of the van, walks around the back of the van, jumps back around and goes, "Oh, a dog!" And comes rushing over and starts petting. And Sister, by the way, had no interest in Christopher Evans whatsoever. She could not care less that fucking Captain America was like, "Hi, dog. Hi, dog. Hi, girl. Come here, girl. Come here." She's like, "Fuck you."
But he had to cancel because there wasn't enough ticket sales, and he had some problems on the road, so he decided that he was going to bail and head home to Austin and not do the show. But that meant I got to do more time. In fact, I ended up headlining the show. But a little light in the darkness, my friend Kyle Kordsman, who was a traveling comedian, a guy who traveled for work for a while and doing comedy, him and I ran each other on the show. We're like, "Kyle," he's like, "Dennis." I was like, "Oh shit." Like, it's so nice to surprisingly run into friends in other cities. Like, it's nice seeing people even in your own city unexpectedly, but when you're nowhere and you don't know anybody and you see somebody it really makes that connection that much stronger when you're that excited to see someone that you know. And like, Kyle and I just hung out backstage the show, just had a good bunch of laughs, and like, that was a good time, man. And then Sister and I got in the car and we moved on, and I got to Pittsburgh, and I tried to do two open mics in the same night in Pittsburgh. And first one, I guess I put my foot in my mouth because the comedian who was hosting a thing, she made a couple of jokes about her size and her appearances, and so and about poetry. And so I did an improvised poem about tagging the stuff that she said. And apparently that pissed some people off. I guess when you're the stranger in town, you come in and you tag someone else's jokes. They don't like that. I mean, I didn't make up things about her appearance that she didn't already acknowledge.
There once was a host named Lydia, and she never visited the country Nigeria. No one here has ever noticed her tibia. She clearly doesn't suffer from bulimia. And the children get to those milk bags like a cafeteria. Okay.
But I'm the stranger in town. She turned around and made a rhyme poetry about me, my things. They were hacky observations. That's fine. That's what I would expect. Go ahead and do it. But there was real, like, you don't belong here kind of type vibe from the people. They're like gasping. I'm like, it's this, I didn't just bring up. And the second open mic was also equally not good. Just a, open mic of people who want to be Bill Hicks yelling at drunks at a bar. Well, you're not Bill Hicks. You're more like Bill Ick.
I have a third option of diabetes. Did you guys know there's 3 types of diabetes?
Yes.
Why are there more types of diabetes than there are good Godfather movies? Why are there more wannabe Italian comics on the show than there are types of diabetes? Seriously, where did Bill Ick go? Did he leave? That guy was trying so hard to be Bill Hicks, I thought his name was Dennis Leary.
And I drove home from Pittsburgh, straight through. It was about 9-10 hours. Stopped at a Panera Bread and got dinner. That's about it. All in all, the trip was great. I loved all of it. The goods, the bads, the ups, the downs. There was enough goods to outweigh the downs. And even the downs were different new experiences. Ultimately, the math of it, I did 95 days on the road. I left Boston, drove as far south as Key West, as far as west as Santa Monica in 95 days. Spent 28 of those days in Baltimore, 36 of those days in LA, 31 days on the road, 12,445 miles. I spent about $1,400 in gas over the 3 months. I visited 33 cities, 16 states that I stayed in. I drove through 10 states. I did over 30 shows. I did open mics wise, about 10 of them in Baltimore, 20 in LA, 16 throughout the other cities. Total around somewhere around 76 shows and open mics in those 95 days. And if my math is right from recordings, I did about 230 minutes of comedy. It's not a lot if you think about the 76 performances. Let's just say it is 76. I think it might be a few more than that, closer to 80. Not a lot of time. In Joplin was the only time I got to do some real time. I did like 30 minutes. Everything else, 2 to 10 minutes. I had maybe another 15er around here somewhere in there in the mix of it. I really want to be doing more time on stage. I want to be doing longer sets. I'm designed my comedy for longer sets. Not that I can't do short sets. I'm not interested in doing short sets. I'm interested in telling people stories. Going out on journeys with them. And yeah, I got some short ones. But I think I'm better in the long run doing the longer sets. Like I talked a lot about my friend Reed Clark. He gave me a lot of time on stage. He let me do 7 to 10s on every show. And I think that last brewery show we did together, he let me do 15 or 20, something like that. The only benefit to my friend Neil backing out of the show in Joplin was that I got to do the long set. I got to fill the time. And I think it went fine. I think I ended up doing like 28. Her and I didn't talk about how much time we were going to do. I just assumed I was doing 25, 30. So I just kept going. And then eventually she lit me at some point. I was like, all right, I'll wrap it up. I think the tape came out to like 28 minutes. 32 minutes, something like that. So that's the objective for the rest of the year, is to try to get the people to let me start doing these longer sets. I should have been doing longer sets for a while now. I have the time, I have the skill, I have that ability. I want to be, I'm not going to say headlining, but I have the material and the skill to be featuring for other people. One of the things that Barbara Holiday and I talked about. Barbara Holiday is the owner of Flappers. She does a lot of courses, talk about branding, how to brand yourself. And her and I had a good sit down long talking about my branding and my image and what I should be doing. She said the thing that I want to be doing is like, what I need to be doing is finding a headliner who wants to take me on tour with them as their opener. And that's what I want. That's what I've been wanting. Now, what I don't understand, I don't know is how do I get to that role? She didn't answer that question for me. I asked her, do I tell somebody that this is my intentions? Or do I just hope and pray somebody is going to let me do that they're going to see that in me? You know, I'm putting those feelers out, trying to get the people that I think who are in the position to put someone like me to open up for them. People who have already been given that opportunity. So they should be able to recognize that they are getting to the point where they can be the person for someone else too. There are people that I want to open for, and I want them to recognize it in me. Do I tell them that's my intention? I don't know. I don't know where to go from here. I know where I want to go. I don't know how to get there. I know my destination. I don't know the route. But ultimately, the 95 days on the road has got me not just one step closer there, but it's starting to open a path for me to find my route to that next step. I've taken the first steps on a long journey that I've been on for a long time already. I was wandering in the desert. Now I'm on my path. I'm on a trail. I know what direction to walk to. I just don't know what's between me and the end of that path yet. So hopefully, over the next year and the next tour, next winter, I'll be better able to navigate the path to the next city on this journey. Thanks a lot for everybody who has stuck through these blog updates, these vlog updates. There's been some talk about maybe I should do less talking head and more interviews. We're going back to doing interviews. We'll be booking some guests. We'll have some more interviews coming back. We'll be talking about the day jobs because I talked extensively about the day job I didn't have for 3 months. There may even be some conversations about my current day job. I'm happy to be back doing Boston Duck Tours. I haven't really delved into the deeps of it with you guys. You get little pieces here and there. But maybe one day I'll fully open up about it. And if I do open up about it, hopefully I'll be able to keep my job despite what I'm about to say. Thank you again so much for downloading this episode of So What Do You Really Do? Podcast where I, your host, Deadair Dennis Maler, talked about his day jobs as an artist and an entertainer. See you guys in the next episode. Thanks a lot.